All right. All right. All right. Can you guys talk to the things and make sure that comes through on the
You guys
stream?
talk to the things and make sure that comes through on the you guys talk
Stream.
to the things and make sure that comes through on the you guys talk
Stream.
to the things and make sure that comes through on the you guys talk
Stream.
to the things and make sure that comes through on the you guys talk
Stream.
to the things and make sure that comes through on the you guys talk
Stream.
to the things and make sure that comes through on the you guys talk to the things and make sure that comes through on the
I haven't heard that one.
That's what he says after that line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember him when he was Dan Whitney, the host at the West Palm Beach Comedy Club.
All right, it's coming through the stream, it looks like. I'm going to see. The problem I had was it wasn't, the music wasn't coming across, so I had to change something to music. Not that I don't really care about the music, really, but. All right, can you guys talk again to see if you come in with it? All right, can you guys talk again to see if you come in with it? All right, can you guys talk again to see if you come in with it? All right, can you guys talk again to see if you come in with it? All right, can you guys talk again to see if you come in with it? Yeah, for some reason I can get either voice or the music in the background, but I can't get both.
You know, I mean, the
So
only reason I'm showing up to see
I
it,
would rather
showing
have
up,
your voices. I'm not really worried about music in the background.
yeah, I'm just here to watch the Ford screw ups.
Yeah. You're all encumbered now.
Wonderful. That's exactly what we wanted.
All right. Well, at least we got it going, so the stream can actually work.
So what's this ward of elementals?
So that's a scroll. It's a, they call it ward, but in our world, it's a protection from elementals scroll.
Yeah, did you
What's that, Ron? Sorry.
did you mean to give me 25 of them?
25? No. You got 25 of them?
Yeah, it says 25.
Well, that's not bueno.
No, we'll take them. That's fine.
I'm sure you
We're
will.
gonna sell 24 of them.
Just reduce thyself down.
Yeah, I'm looking to try and reduce it right now.
If you can't, I'll do it for
A
you.
lot of protection.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it doesn't give me the option to do that.
All right, sir, let me go into your gear.
Yeah, I'm I'm still having a problem getting my
I only show you as having one.
Oh, well, I'm looking at it under the actions icon. The cross swords.
Yep, I'm going to look here and see.
Maybe that's like 25 minutes or so. I don't know.
Yeah, so this I think is when it does that, it keeps it in for like the however long the effect is, maybe. Um, Yeah, this is weird. It says, oh, okay, I see what you're saying. All right. So reuse none.
Oh, so he
So
could use it
apparently
later.
they considered it not a scroll but an actual ward, like an item, right? So I just changed that. So it should say Ward of Elementals 1 now.
All right. Thank you, DM, for your care and attention to detail.
I
Nope,
did
it
what I
still says times 25.
Yeah, maybe you just have to refresh. Doesn't really matter. Well, we can cross that bridge when we get to it. So don't forget, if you haven't already, to apply your experience to your character. Everybody got 10K for last session.
Did that.
And Ronnie, I don't know if you noticed, I changed the name of your login from Loquacious to Ronnie.
I had not noticed. Thank you, DM.
Yep, I kind of I went in and put everybody as whatever um, their character name was. So hopefully
I
that'll
guess
work.
it's time to kill Ronnie then.
Yeah, so you can get back to Loquacious. All right, let's get this thing kicked off. What do we say?
Yes. We're an ad.
Yeah, I know.
$30 seconds.
I forgot to watch out for it.
It's all good. We'll make it out alive. Or will.
And there we go. We are live. Hello, everybody. Appreciate you guys being with us here tonight. I'm taking a look at my OBS and I'm like, boy, I don't like how that looks. That is kind of. I had to widen out the background a little bit on the OBS here, just so that the background of the players doesn't didn't over the top of the map. And I was like, why is that happening? So let me see if I can fix that here really quick, just because It's not that I'm OCD, but man, I get really like I just look at something. I'm like, all right, this is not good. Let me. Where is it? Oh,
Looks like there's a light effect from somebody on there.
yeah. It's. I just have to shrink this up a little bit. So there we go. So that way there's black behind you guys. Anyway, I'm sorry. I just kind of looked as we came on, and I looked over and went, "What the heck is that?" Oh, I
The light is on Ronnie.
yes, the light is on Ronnie. Oh, you talk yes. So I'm sorry. I thought I wasn't. That's not what I was talking about. I was talking about um, when you look at OBS, or I should say, you look at the stream. When you look at the characters off to the left, there's the panel with each of you guys, right? Your panel was partially over the top of the map, so like you have this dark background where your character is, and then the map was infringing underneath that, and that was bugging me. So I had to fix that. However, yes, if you have a magic item in first edition, it gives off a 20-foot radius or a 20-foot radius of light, and so like if you have a magic dagger, say that's what I think Varus has on his, and you equip that, I believe it will give you the light around you. But anyway, that's just sort of game effect or whatever. So, and I think Zadkill on his character, it's his. I don't know if you guys can see it or everybody can see it, but I think he has a like a passive aura. Um, let's see.
Oh, that's the protection from evil.
Yeah, he's got a. So actually, his keen blade. It's weird because it has a 30-foot and a 15-foot radius. I think it's a 15-foot dim and a 30-foot bright. So I could toggle it off on him if I wanted. And you can as well. You can always go to your light, and you can toggle them on and off, if you will, if you want, just by going to your effects, which is the one that looks like a lightning bolt on your character sheet. You can go on the back and see all the temporary effects, effects that are suppressed, etc., etc. And I think, like I said, the way it's supposed to work is if you have a magic item in first edition, a magic weapon, it gives off a light radius. But in this particular game mechanic, you can toggle by I think it's just equipping and unequipping it, and it will automatically toggle it, or you can go manually and toggle it yourself, of course. So anyway, I'm not going to muck around with that too much. Let's get into tonight's session, and I'd like to welcome everybody that was out there early. Probably most of us, but who knows if there's anybody else out there. I'd like to welcome everybody into tonight's game for our first edition Dungeons and Dragons. I am Sean, your host, and as always, bringing you together with the finest first edition gamers that this channel has to offer. And if you've been following us for a while, you know we affectionately call ourselves a shit show. So here we are. Don't forget, as you watch the stream, you earn tokens. You can trade those tokens in for natural ones and or natural 20s. But I encourage you to get them in early so that the players have the entire session to use them. They do not carry over from session to session unless some extenuating circumstance, like the players are never able to use those dice that were given. For example, last session, not to brag, but I was granted a nat 1, and we never got a chance to use it. So that's carrying over. But as it stands right now, that's the only dice roll that does carry over. So I have a nat 1. However, if you would like to help support the stream as well as support your player, for every 100 bits that you cheer, you can grant a +1 to your favorite player or to the DM, and we can use those points to adjust die rolls up, down, or otherwise. I am going to make a modification going forward, gents. I am just going to total them all together. So there's no more. You can only do up to 5 points at a time. I am just going to total them all up. So as it stands right now, I, the humble DM, have a +2 available. Deglin, you have +6 available. Baron has +10 available. Nephron has +4 available. Ronnie has +2. Varus, you have +4. And Zadkiel has a +9 available. So from now on, whenever we get points, I'm just going to total them up. I'm not going to keep them in groups or bunches or anything like that. So 9 times out of 10, it's only ends up being a point or two anyway. But hey, if you want to blow your entire set of points on one dice roll, you are more than welcome to do so. And also, of course, I encourage you to hit that like button if you'd like to help support us. We are always willing to accept subscriptions. As always, every dime that you guys give into us goes right back into the stream in some way, shape, or form, whether it's hosting services, content, or the DM just needs a beer, whichever. It goes into the stream in some way, shape, or form. But I encourage you to at least click the follow, turn on that little alert thingy so that you guys get alerts when we come online. We are here every Monday, every other Friday, which, by the way, this upcoming Friday we are streaming our fifth edition game. So please come check us out there. Last but not least, if you are a follower and a aficionado of Greyhawk like we are, I encourage you to check out the Greyhawk Creatives page at twitch.tv/team/Greyhawk Creatives. Go check out all the other great Greyhawk content that is available on Twitch. We just got a little group page over there, team page as I call it. And go check it out, man. There's 20 or so content providers last time I looked, so go check them out. Give them all a like, give them a follow. Let them know that you came from us so that they can reciprocate the love and we can spread the wealth. But let's get into where we are now. If you are followers of the stream, you may recall that our party returned from stopping an evil dragon cult from what they thought was going to be the awakening of a sleeping red dragon, when in fact what it wound up being is this evil dragon cult was trying to summon a rather sizable lava dragon from the plane, one of the inner planes or one of the outer planes, whatever they call those, the elemental planes, trying to drag it from whether fire, lava, whatever plane it was. Its nose had come through, and it was like I said, a rather sizable beast. And so Ronnie, as tasked by the great druid of his order, the Order of the Golden Dawn, managed to stop the druidess that was leading the charge. And so the party was successful, and as such, Ronnie Noblight has earned his place as one of the 3 of the inner circle of the great druid of the order. And so they returned to Greyhawk, where soon after, if not immediately thereafter, they were informed that Ayuz the Old had apparently left his fortress city of Daraka. Now, the party had just been there, and they had just dealt with Ayuz and some of his, not Ayuz himself, but a lot of his minions, as they went on a rescue mission to rescue Lord Holmer, Knight Commander of the Shieldlands, who was being held in the prisons beneath Daraka. And so, since their return from that successful expedition, they have had an attempt on their life. But fortunately, it was a pretty ill-fated attempt, and they took out the assassin before he could make good his escape. But now the party was a little bit concerned that, why is Ayuz gone, and what is going on? And all of the scrying and whatnot of the church did not lead them to determine where Ayuz was or what his plans were. They just know that he had left with a rather sizable contingent of his soldiers. And so the party was asked to investigate they did get some clues in the way of a cultist or a priest of Ayu's had been captured within the city and was being held by the guild, and in fact was turned over to Varist for interrogation. And they got some clues that they then took along with the information provided by the church and went into the great library of the free city of Greyhawk and began to delve into and do research. They hired out several librarians within the library in order to help them do their research. And the more they learned, the more their faces paled. I can say that for aesthetic effect, maybe not what really happened, but they discovered that Ayuz was apparently going to the Tovag Buragu, which is old ancient Baklunish, meaning the navel of the earth. And the Tovag stands now as a grim reminder of the invoked devastation that swept across the Baklunish Empire during the time of the Twin Cataclysms. The ancient Suel mages cast the invoked devastation down upon the Baklunish, and at the same time, the Baklunish released the rain of colorless fire upon the Suel Empire, and the Suel Empire was turned to ash and dust, and that region is now known as the Sea of Dust, where they say that living magic still jumps from place to place, almost like wild magic. Such power was released that it still to this day is said to have effects. But the Tovag stands where the capital of the Baklunish Empire is rumored to have once been, and all that remains now is the dry steppes, as everything was burned away, leaving nothing but an arid sort of plain with scrub growth, maybe a few spotted trees, copse of trees here and there, but for all intents and purposes, everything was like destroyed and burned away, leaving nothing but these standing stones. It's almost like a giant druidic circle that sits on a great salt lake of Rudranakar. And so the party, as they delved into the Tovag and its history and its meaning, they then discovered that it holds a special place near and dear to the hearts of the cult of Vecna. And so as the party began to tie these bits and pieces and fragments of information together, they realized that for some reason Ayuz is headed to the Tovag Buragu, which is again an alleged place of power and reverence for the cult of Vecna. And in the pieces of information they received, it's apparent that Ayuz is looking for a way to gain power so that he may ascend himself to full godhood instead of living out his miserable existence here on earth as a demigod. And so that was essentially where we left off. Players, you can tell me whether or not I may have missed anything. I don't think I missed anything, but feel free to chime in with anything that I may have missed.
Didn't we go to that church of St. Cuthbert and dined, or was that palace place?
No, so you guys were at the palace, then you went to the church, and you did dine at the church, and then from there you guys all went to the library, and that's where we left off, is you guys were all at the library. You guys, everybody eventually made it to the library. I know that, was it Ronnie and Nephron, I think, went out and did some shopping in order to get like some magic bolts and sling bullets and stuff like that. But for the most part, everybody wound up back at the end of the day, everybody wound up back at the library, and that's where we essentially left off our game last week. Coolio?
Question.
Sir.
Did we say it was 6 weeks travel to get to there,
So,
and then they would be gone 30?
and they'll be gone 30. What do you mean? Sorry.
IUs will be back in 30 days, right? His party's in 30 days.
That is the rumor, right? Is like 4 weeks, right? And so nobody knows how long he's been gone, but the party or the ale and whatnot is supposed to be picked up so that it can be brought back to Doraka. Now, you don't know if the celebration is in 30 days. You just know that the wine deliveries and stuff have to be done within 30 days. It is a 6-week, roughly, overland travel. However, modes of transportation, of course, as you know, especially with now rather well-known and persons of import such as yourselves, they can deliver you to the region where the Tovag is, and then you guys can travel the final distances yourselves.
Okay, I just want to make sure somebody had maybe agreed to teleport us there.
Nobody had agreed as of yet, although it was sort of indicated that with all due haste to get there, that it, modes of transportation could be provided.
Excellent.
Cool. And so that, dear folks, is where we are going to pick up tonight's episode. It is roughly sundown as you guys finish up your research, investigation, sort of putting all of the pieces together. The library is still open, but is there anything else that you guys want to do at the library? Where do we want to go from here? Do we want to turn in for the night? What do we want to do from here?
I want to go.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I want to go talk to St. Cuthbert priest and talk to them about any rumors of a holy sword or something.
Okay. Well, you stay at the church anyway, so you'll be heading back there. I can definitely do that. Ferris?
Can we learn about Cost, Methodist Lieutenant, and everything as well?
So you did.
Or not?
There is bits and pieces of information about Koss, yes. Mostly centered around the fact that he was a general to Vecna who turned on him for whatever reason, and with his powerful magic blade took the hand of Vecna as well as his eye. But any super detail more than that, no, you guys didn't.
Okay.
Most of your research was kind of centered around Vecna.
Yeah. All right. Well, at least we're aware of there's, a possible sword that can harm him.
Right.
Or harm him. So,
right.
Yeah. Well, it's really evil, whatever.
Right.
But, so, all right.
Yeah, probably the most information that I could say that you would know is that Koss's sword was, legend says, was a sentient sword, and the sword itself is what turned Koss against Vecna in the first place.
Yeah.
Can't
Okay.
trust those weapons, can you?
Yeah, not at all.
Welcome to artifacts.
Yeah.
Or your artifacts. Anyway.
Anyway,
Okay. Yep.
cool. So, anything else that we wish to do tonight before retiring to our various?
Arrange supplies. Since we're going to a arid
Right.
area, we probably want lots of water and
Okay.
whatnot, or at least ways to make water.
Okay. Yeah, that's most of the markets are getting closed down now, so you can definitely do that. Make plans for that tomorrow. Sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So as you guys retire for the evening, Zadkiel, you return to the Church of Saint Cuthbert, um, and you said that you wanted to discuss with the, and I'm going to put Varus where he goes to, somewhere up here.
Yeah, to discuss any uh tales or any, like, since paladins, look for a holy weapon, what is it that they have as far as that, like, concerning a paladin like myself,
So
or
the
or training on how does one acquire one,
yeah,
or
so
palace or
the
whoever I need to go to.
a couple of the older clerics can tell you, you know, rumors or stories that some of the more prominent holy warriors of the church have had um, powerful magical blades at their side, but what what powers that they possess they don't know, because paladins don't just walk around showing off their magic weapons and saying, "Look at me." But they do know that there were some paladins rumored to have blades that were fashioned by the gods to have a soul of their own, and they helped guide and protect the paladin in combat, things of that nature. How to go about acquiring one of those? Perhaps through devout prayer, um, but they don't even know how those famous paladins came across their magical blades and magical weapons and stuff. It was just they were known to have them, so perhaps the gods gifted it to them, or perhaps they were set upon a holy quest, much like you did for your horse. But other than that, they're not really able to say, oh yeah, this is where you go to get your holy weapon, right? So it's one of those things that's bestowed by the gods, um, and sheer
Okay,
dumb luck,
makes
maybe.
sense. So I tell them, well, obviously I know this. Well, I don't know if I know this, but I say, I guess in my training I learned about, like, once I got the horse. I don't know if it's common knowledge or what as a paladin, but or in a backstory or whatever. But I asked them, well, do we know of any paladins in our order that have such a sword that I may talk to or find, so I may ask these kinds of questions, as your knowledge is limited in this arena.
Um, they don't know um, off the top of their head um, the name of any like paladin or any like warrior or anything like that. However, they do know several, like, there are paladins that they know have come into the order, right? Have been into the church and whatnot. Of course, you know Talasek. Talasek was the paladin that you guys kind of first encountered when you first came to Greyhawk and got involved with the cult of the Falcon. Although he is missing because he went looking for he went to try to rescue the Knight Commander of the Shieldlands before you guys did, and he ended up missing himself. So where he is, you have no idea. But like I said, there are many paladins that come in and in through the church, passing through and whatnot. But they don't know like when they're going to be back, where they are now. You know, all of them are off on their own various missions and whatnot. So, but I mean, they can always kind of ask around, I guess.
Yes. Well, I thought as a clergyman, you kept records of these things.
Well, we keep
As a
record. Yeah,
battle
we
of
can go. Well, I mean, we can go look through records and stuff, but I mean, we don't.
yes, if you would please. That way we can, because I'm sure if Vecna and some evil army attacks us, we might need the calling of some of these individuals that have these kinds of things. I just need some leads. So, in a nutshell, but just so I know that I'm doing, I am a paladin on a quest for righteousness, I suppose.
Right.
That is my lifelong goal. And as we speak, by the way, here is my donation, and I give them. Let me look at my character sheet. I donate some gold to them.
Give them 10,000.
I don't know if I have 10,000. I have to look at what my sheet says. But it looks like I have a nice donation here for you. I have no gold. Would be under that, maybe. Oh, someone has stolen my gold. I am so sorry. Oh, no, there it is. Oh, there's 2 gold spots. Okay. Here is 4,000 gold.
Okay. They take your donation, and they assure you that they will look to see where some of the different well-known paladins are, how they might be contacted, so that you can discuss with them whatever it is you're wanting to discuss.
Very well, thank you. Have a good night.
All right. So, assuming you all return to your, are we going? I guess I should say, where are we going in the morning? Are we going back to the church for first, or are we going to go to the markets first? Where do we want to go? Anybody? Anybody? Probably should have just left you guys all together since you're all going to be together doing whatever.
Well, Ronnie doesn't need to pick anything up, so he's good for whatever the party needs.
Okay. So I know, Varys, you mentioned about getting. Sorry, Nephron, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I picked up my potions, so I'm good. So I'm just following the party at this point.
Okay. So as Varys discussed, if you guys are going to be going out on this mission, you're going to the Dry Steppes, which is called the Dry Steppes for a reason. There's not much water there. Even though the Tovag sits on the edge of a lake, it's like a great salt lake, uninhabitable. It's so salty as to essentially be a dead lake. And so I know Varys wanted to get some supplies. And then
I wouldn't worry about water. I can easily cover that just by creating water. I can
I
create
mean,
up to 30 cubic feet of it. So
oh yeah, I don't know if I really need very many supplies. I just want to be prepared.
gotcha. Yep, absolutely. So,
You never know what's going to happen.
all right.
So,
So, in the morning, um, you guys are as you wake up at your respective places in the morning. You are dispatches delivered to each of you at your respective homes, if you will, or wherever you're staying, and you are asked to gather once again at the temple so that final preparations can be made for your journey. As always, you guys are met by the clergy and escorted into the meeting room of which you have now become so accustomed. Interestingly, when you guys arrive, you see that there's a new painting hanging on the wall next to Talisek's grandfather. Other paintings and whatnot have been shifted slightly to make room for it, but it is a painting of Talisek himself, as he now hangs on the wall next to his grandfather. As you guys are seated around, the priestess arrives and asks you, what your decision is going to be, I should say.
I think we already said we would.
Well, I don't
definitely do
know.
it.
I couldn't remember if you guys said you were definitely. So, you have
All on board.
you have had ample time to research. I hope. Can you enlighten me as to what you may have discovered in your investigation?
I just fill her in that we think that they're in this area, the Torvig area, which was now the named. What was it named? They changed the name.
it was the former capital of the Finnish Empire.
Right.
And the very old one is looking for the
Beckman.
remains of Vecna or gain the power of Vecna from there. So,
So this Tovag is in the Western
Steppe.
lands.
yeah, just by a lake.
Called the Navel of the Earth in Baklanish. Barug.
Yeah,
Baragu.
Tovag Baragu.
Baragu.
Yep.
Trying to think. Got some notes here that I'm going through. I want to make sure that we. All right. So, as she's sort of going over in her mind, all of this, she looks at you and says, "Then you must make utmost haste to stop the old one from what he is seeking to do." And so I think it would probably be best if you were outfitted with steeds, if you do not already have so. And we shall
Oh yeah.
talk with
Has my
the.
steed got here yet?
Yes, yeah, your horse is here. The Aratai just sort of looks and tells you, I think perhaps we should then ensure that you each have steeds and are equipped as you need, and we shall discuss with the Mages Guild in order to provide you a mode of transportation that gets you there quickly. For we have no knowledge, or we have no information as to when the old one actually began his quest. It could have been a month ago, from whence, before you were even there, rescuing the Knight Commander, Lord Holmer. He could have already been gone from the city when you were there, or if he was in the city, then it was shortly after you left, which was many weeks ago. And so we must make the utmost haste. So I would encourage you all to gather all of the gear that you feel that you are going to need, and we shall meet at the Mages Guild in order to get you transported to where it is that you need to go. And then she takes her leave and bids you guys to go get your gear, and then meet at the guild. So it gives you guys the last little bit of time to decide, is there anything else that you want to pick up? If you got everything you need, then we will just meet at the guild.
So, since it's kind of an arid, almost desert-like area, do we have any, I mean, for those of you who are worried about being poisoned, do we have ways to deal with, like, scorpions and poison snakes and whatnot?
To deal with what? Sorry, this like straight poisons?
Yeah, I'm not worried about it, but because I have that fear and some other things. But
I have a
I
spell
mean,
neutralize poison, but it's just one spell. So
I mean, our saves are probably pretty good by now, but I mean, again, no, if nobody's worried, then
yeah, I've got a spell neutralize. Actually, I got a spell and a scroll
I
of
mean,
neutralize.
Ronnie might have something too. I don't know.
But yeah,
Sorry,
maybe.
I had a cat puking in the hallway and had to get up. I missed the whole
Oh,
conversation.
no problem.
Do you have poison,
Yeah, I know.
anti-poison stuff?
We play CSI Cat Puke around here a lot.
Do I have what?
Anti-poison stuff?
Well, I do have. I'm pretty sure I can slow poison.
I've got neutralize poison and a scroll of neutralize poison.
Okay, well, as long as we have something in case somebody needs it.
Yeah, I can neutralize poison at the 3rd level. I don't think I have any memorized right now, though.
No,
I
but
have it. I have it.
may want to have one just in case. But
Let me look.
I mean, I don't know what
Oh, I've got 2 memorized right now. You're all safe.
Okay. Alright. And we have plenty of healing stuff, right? Potions and whatnot.
Well,
Yeah, and I got tons of potions.
I need to go find some if there is any available.
All right. Yes, you can.
Fill up our holy waters.
Yeah.
let's see. What was the cost of the what were you looking for, Zadkill?
Just healing potions and holy water. Well, I was gonna see if I could get holy water from the church.
Yeah, you can get 5 vials of holy water from the church. And if you want a potions of healing, you can get 3 potions of healing, but it's like I think I can't remember what the cost was. Like 50 gold a piece. Is that what it was? Is that what we decided? I can't remember.
I thought it was 800 for extra healing.
Was it? Yeah, that's right. That's right. Extra healing is 800, but regular healing. Probably should have turned the light on before I started the game because I am blind as shit.
Do they have a generic brand? Will my insurance cover it?
All right, let's see. Look at potions, healing. 400 gold. Thank you. 400 gold for regular healing, 850 for extra. So your choice on which one you want. Not 850, 800. Sorry, 800
800 gold for extra.
for extra healing. You can get, but you don't. No, I'm sorry. You can't. We don't have any extra ones available, but you can get 3 regular potions of healing if you want.
But I read in your brochure that you don't have
Just let me know. No playing around. Let's get this over with.
I want to go visit my apothecary.
All right.
I'll
So
take
while
3.
you'll take 3 potions of healing.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm
Adding it.
So now I just added. Yep. You got 5.
I just added.
Yep. I saw. All right. And Varus, you are looking for what?
I want to see if the apothecary has any extra healing.
Any extra healing?
Yeah.
I've got 13 in the bag of holding, dude.
Oh, you do? Okay. Yeah. I have a couple, but
Yeah, and I have 5 in my backpack.
we don't know, if we're going to end up fighting two guys like beans.
Yeah,
Right.
you can never have enough.
Yeah.
All right.
All
DM,
right, so we got food
Yeah, don't worry
and
about
horse
it.
feed, right?
I need to get
We're
food.
gonna need horse oats and stuff.
I need to subtract the
I thought
gold.
we
Yeah.
were. Yeah, I thought we were going to be using a scroll of teleportation to get there.
Yes,
But we can have horses with us when we go.
yeah, they're going to transport you and your horses because you're
Yeah.
not going to be teleported right on top of the Tovag. They will get you as close as they can get because of the region, both like the Sea of Dust and the northern dry steppes, especially around the Tovag, tends to be a little fuzzy when it comes to teleportation and stuff like that because of the ancient magics that still linger. The Tovag itself is rumored to be tied to other planes and stuff like that, almost like portals and stuff like that. And so they will get you close, but they don't want to try to drop you right on top of it because you could get blasted away anywhere. So very similar to what was going on when they teleported you to Doraka. They could only get you about 20 miles away. That's where they felt safe. It's going to be something similar here. They will get you close, but the last however many miles you're going to have to travel on foot or horse, whichever.
All right, so if we got horse feed, water, food, potions, let's roll.
well, I would like to give, if Varus is going to that apothecary, I have the raw materials for those 4 water breathing potions. I'd like to give those up so that dude could start making them.
Okay.
I'm going to delete them from my sheet, DM, but I'm giving them to him to turn in.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I'll pass them along.
Okay. All right. So He does not have any extra healing potions available, unfortunately.
That's fine.
Um,
Does he
but
have anything for, doesn't like, I ask him if he knows anything about the joystick.
never heard of it. Sorry.
Okay,
I've been born and raised here in the Free City, so
yeah.
I know the city and its surroundings. But other than that,
Do you have a nice, like, shady, veil or, thing for my face and stuff? I don't want to get sunburned.
oh, you want some salve or something to help
Yeah,
protect your
something
face?
to protect the skin, yeah.
Yeah, he can definitely give you something to help protect the skin. And he gives you a salve that you can put on prior to, but it'll also help with fast healing should you receive excessive burns from the sun. It's almost like an aloe type of
Okay,
type of a thing, and that is one silver piece. Will provide 10 applications.
okay. I'll give him a whole piece and get some extra if he has it
Okay, yeah,
for
absolutely,
other party members.
absolutely. He gives you 10, um, 10, 10 of them. Um, each container has 10 applications of the stuff.
Okay.
All right. So, anything else that?
We all have our horses, oats, stuff like that.
Yep.
Okay.
Convenience.
And
You have. I'm not sure when you buy. Do that you buy by the day? Is that
Probably.
in the?
I
Yep.
think so.
So each of you has your horse. Each of you has 5 days of food that they've given.
Okay.
which that just supplements them eating grass and stuff, right? So they don't get
Yes.
malnutrition.
Yeah. Exactly. Um, and let me think. Oh, and you guys are getting teleported there, but they have no idea when you want to come back, so it's going to be on you to come back however it is you want to come back. You do have 5 of the scrolls left, I believe, of plane shift, so you could probably utilize those in some way, shape, or form to return. I'm not sure how many people a plane shift can fit, if it's just like a 10-foot circle or how that works, because you guys would have horses as well. um,
Right.
so
Yeah.
so anyway, but that being said, they can get you there, but coming back is going to be on you guys, whether you just want to ride back, send word, and then ride back on your own. I know you guys had mentioned that you may want to stop through Geoff to check on your mine and other stuff.
Yeah. Or Diamond Lake.
Or,
I mean, I still have
well,
my
or Diamond Lake.
certificate for my dean too. So
yeah, exactly. So, all right.
Is it Geoff? Yeah, I had a interest in the mine there.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't been paid since I started. We were supposed to roll every 3 months, and I never did it.
Yeah. I know because we're
yeah.
slackers. So, all
So
right.
I
So,
hand everybody a vial of this ointment.
all right. Yeah, you guys can add it to your character sheets, or I can add it later, but just annotate that you've got. I know you can add items on your own, but just a
Yeah.
vial of sun lotion, for lack of a better term.
And I'll just keep the extras for now.
Yep. All right.
Hmm.
So, as you guys all make your way, finishing up toward the end of the day. Not really. I mean, it's close to the end. It's like 3:30, 4 in the afternoon when you guys finally arrive at the College of Magical Arts, in the center of the Clerksburg, as they call it. College Town is what I like to call it, because all the colleges and whatnot. But you arrive at the giant pyramid that does make up this um, College of Magical Arts, and you are led by Baron into, as he has full authority to go in and out of the guild at will, bringing you guys all to the teleportation circle that you are familiar with, having launched from here before. You all gather. Your horses are brought in with you, and they are teleported first, because the circle in this room is only big enough to send. You guys can't go all together with the horses.
Well, DM, I'd like to talk to those horses first before they get teleported to make sure they all know they're not supposed to take off running. We'll be right behind them.
Okay. As he paws on there, yes, sir.
My horse is named Mr. Ed, by the way.
All right. As they are whisked away, you watch as the giant circle of light begins to spin around them. From the outside, it looks very different as they become twisted and distorted, almost comic book like, in twisting of their shapes into elongated necks and pronounced snouts and whatnot, and poof, a second later they are gone, and you guys, roger that, as you guys step into the circle and the Magi begin their second incantation, and a few moments later you guys feel yourselves very much like happened when you were whisked away to both White Plume Mountain and then to Doraka. You guys are whisked away, and when everything comes back into focus, you find yourselves standing on a flat, cracked earth plain. You can see that the whole region is, for the most part, rocky, broken earth, but you can see that it is like a plain of scrub grass. It is there. You can see that here and there are dots and copses of trees and whatnot, but it is, for the most part, you thought it was going to be like a desert, but it's really like a grassy plain. But the grass itself is very scrub-like and only comes up to maybe your knees at the tallest. It's not like really high. However, from your vantage, as you are on this little hill that goes down between a rise on the other side, so you're sort of on one rise, and the hill sort of sweeps down into a low valley several miles long, and you can see in the distance it kind of swoops up to another rocky mountainous area. But in the middle, looking down, probably 3 or 4 miles away, you can see a rather large, what appears to be, for lack of a better term, an oasis. Large groves of trees grow there, indicating that there is water and such. But even from this distance, you can see several tents pitched around the edges of that large oasis that you can see.
Is that the yellow dot we see on the map?
That is correct.
Okay.
Do we see the horses?
Yes, your horses are right there.
I'll invisibly get on one.
Okay.
I'm gonna use the geometry seeing and just verify it's not an illusion.
Okay. No, it looks like it's an oasis, right?
All right. We don't know who's there though. Those tents could
No.
be anybody.
Yeah, it could be anybody.
Well, I
We
would
only
say,
had a druid who could turn into a bird and fly down there and take a look.
or just ride on by like we belong here and it's no big deal.
You see nothing. You see nothing that we need to worry about through that gem, correct?
That he told me about, so it's not an illusion, the trail.
What do you see?
What's that?
Yeah.
What did you
Let's
see?
ride down.
What?
Hello?
No, I'm
Probably
sorry.
Yeah.
There's people talking over each other, so I'm just trying to make out who wants to know what. As I said,
Okay.
you guys are on a hill looking down into a low valley about 2 or 3 miles away. You can see what looks to be an oasis. You look through your gem of true seeing, you can't see anything. It's like 3 miles away, so it looks normal to you. The gem of true seeing only works things that are like right up in front of you and stuff like that. So it's not
Well,
something that would.
it didn't disappear, so it's not an
No,
illusion.
correct.
That's what it's.
Okay, correct. Yeah, it did not disappear.
So it's
So-
definitely not an illusion, the trail. But I
Yes.
can't give any further information from that.
Correct. So, and
So
I'm not sure, Varys, you had asked something. Were you asking what they saw, or?
Yeah, I missed what he said. Now I
Oh,
know. I was
sorry.
going to offer the hill take a look.
Yeah.
But,
So
you know, we might
essentially,
want to get a little closer.
yeah, essentially you see an oasis, and there are several large tents around that oasis. But what is the makeup of the occupants? You don't know.
Well, I mean, I can turn invisible and move quietly,
Yes, you
so
can.
I can go have a look.
Yes, you can. It's about 3 miles, though.
Well,
So,
like I said, we'll have to get a little closer first.
okay. All right.
And we'll want
Is
to
there-
probably not travel hard because we don't want to pick up like a dust storm.
Yeah. So
Is-
as you guys are there, it is roughly 6:30 in the evening. So you've got about maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours of daylight left. It's only 3 miles on horseback. It'll take you like 20 minutes maybe at a normal ride. So you guys are definitely.
Is there any-
Hmm?
Is there any cover on the way there that we can
It
stay behind the
is
hill? Or
flat grassland.
that's what I figured.
As I said, there are small copses of trees here and there, but this one's a rather pronounced one that looks like an oasis. But nothing that would provide you cover moving in that direction.
Well, keep your
let's
heads on a
So when you
swivel.
said
line
tent,
up like we're traders or nomads ourselves.
You were going to say something, Nephron?
Sorry.
as far as the tents, this isn't like a lot of tents that could be like an army. This is more like nomads, right?
Yes. In your experience, it doesn't look like there's a butt ton like that would be set up in some sort of a strict, rigid manner. A whole bunch of rows of tents. You know what I mean? Sort of like what's the word I'm looking for? Organized, if you will. But it
Okay,
does,
so it's not Ayu's army.
doesn't appear to be, but you don't know because you don't know how many people Ayus took with him, right? So you don't know if he's got a full-blown army or he's got just a small contingent of soldiers, like maybe 20, 30. You don't know. So again, it's not really from this distance. It's unclear who or what they may be.
DM, I'm guessing that you pulled a fast one on us, and we're going to march right into IU's and all of his cohort right here and completely derail the whole mission.
Why would I want to do that to you? Why, Ronnie?
Curveball.
I love you guys, man. You're my favorite players. What do we want to do?
Let's head that way.
Okay.
I think we should head that way. Let Varys go in undetected and check it out and make sure it's safe, and then we'll stay out of direct contact until he comes back and tells us it's safe.
Okay. So as you guys begin, is only Varys? Sorry, I guess I'm misunderstanding. Are you guys all moving closer, and then you're? Sorry.
I think we should all move that way, and then maybe a mile out, half a mile out, stop, and then let Varys go and check it out first.
Okay, that's fair. You guys slowly move down the grassy plains. The light over the horizon, or the shadows from the sun begin to get longer as you get closer to the encampment. As you are moving a little bit slow, assuming you're trying to avoid detection, it takes you a little longer, but eventually you get yourselves to within maybe a mile of the place, and you sort of stop. You can still see that it is a couple dozen tents, maybe. You can definitely see there are numerous figures moving back and forth through the oasis. But you guys stop and allow Varys to do his thing. Varys, go ahead and give me.
Can we see horses?
From where you are at, you can see that there are a section of area where horses appeared to be tied to trees or some manner. So they definitely do have horses. But Varys, could you go ahead and give me a move silent, please? You don't have to do hide and shadow because you're invisible.
Sure.
So Varys, you dismount your horse and you begin moving invisibly through the plains. You get within a few hundred yards, and as you get closer, you can make out more. The tents don't look, and the occupants don't look to be anything like Ayuz's army. You can see.
There's no orcs and
Correct. You can
goblins
see human males and females, as well as some children and other animals such as dogs. You can see they've got horses that are tied up. All in all, you'd probably make about 40 or 50 men, women, and children.
Are these maybe the nomads we were told about?
Yeah. From attire purposes, think Mongolian.
Yeah.
They have heavy. They have not leather, but like heavy fur, like on their shoulders, and like leather vests, if you will, and whatnot. They've got long, dark hair, swarthy, dark, sun-baked skin. But yeah, that's kind of the view that you have. You can see that they have a couple of large fires going and apparently are roasting something over the fires in preparation for their night or whatever. You can see that this is almost a true oasis, not quite a true oasis in the sense because there's water there, but the water looks very small, like a small little pool of water, as opposed to like a big pond or something that you may see in some deserts. So it's obvious that this is a gathering place just because of that fact.
Yeah, does it look like they're protecting the oasis or just camp?
So unclear. If there's tents there, there's horses are all there. It doesn't look like there's anything permanent built around here. It looks completely like they stopped here and set up camp, although maybe they're here for a few days, a month, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
you
hmm
don't know, but it doesn't look like there's anything permanent built anywhere. So, yeah.
Okay. Does it look like they're only taking water from the oasis? Like there's not fish or something maybe in it as well?
Not that you can tell, right? So,
Okay.
and even the trees are kind of like half baked, like they don't even look like they have fruits or anything on it, right?
A lot of
So,
nutrition. Yeah.
correct,
Okay.
yeah. So more than likely, it's just water for maybe the grasses for the horses, or to refill the
Yeah.
goat skins,
Okay.
perhaps, or something.
All right. Well, if they have families, they're definitely probably no nomadic people. And all right, I will take all that and head back and
Okay.
give my report.
All right. So as Varys is gone, you guys wait, and perhaps 45 minutes, maybe even an hour later, um, Varys suddenly pops back into view, and informs you of what he saw. It is a nomad tribe of some sort sitting on a small oasis. Um, perhaps,
They have family and everything with them.
yeah, perhaps 30 or 40 um, people, including men, women, and children. So, what do we want to do? Do we just want to bypass them? Do we want to go to the encampment and try to?
It couldn't hurt to
Let's
get
ride
some
up there.
information. Yeah. Maybe
Absolutely.
they've seen this. Maybe they've seen this army of Ayus and they know where they're at and stuff like that.
Yeah, might be able to trade some something for information if nothing else.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, we ride on.
All right. You guys, as you begin to move closer to the encampment, as I said, as the sun's beginning to sink over the horizon, there's still light enough to see a fairly good distance. And when you guys are about 300 or 400 yards from the encampment, a shrill whistle
Yeah.
goes up, and you can hear it echoing across the plain. Instantly, within just a matter of seconds, there are a dozen or so of these nomads that quickly mount their horses and form a line between you and the encampment, and they slowly move toward you. You can see they've got weapons, including swords as well as the spears that they carry. They move towards you guys. They get about maybe 100 feet away when they stop, and they just sit there. You can get a better look at them now. They're definitely lean, showing a life of hardship. They've got very dark, sun-baked skin, thick, dark hair that most of them have kept in some sort of a just pulled back and tied back behind, not a true ponytail, but just sort of tied out of their faces. Again, they wear the heavy furs about them as armament and whatnot, and leather trousers and stuff. You can see that they don't wear saddles. Well, they don't have saddles, but they just sit aside the horses with reins on them. And so, as I said, they're about 100 feet away, and they stop. And one of them calls out something. You have no idea what he says.
Respond back in common. No trouble.
Yeah. Raise my hand and like read.
Okay.
And I'll even dismount
Okay.
and walk forward.
So As you
parlay.
as you begin to walk toward them, they all kind of look at each other and they're whispering. You can't hear anything that they're saying. And then one of the figures who was toward the center of this mix of nomads gets off of his horse and walks, and he stops about 10 feet from you. What is wrong with ears?
Don't understand your tongue.
I think you mean your points.
Yeah. What is
He hadn't
wrong
seen
with
L's.
Yeah, he's looking at you
Oh,
and he's sort of
well, I mean, I
gesturing.
would have had mine put up, but
Okay, I
yeah,
wasn't. Yeah, but he just looks.
but yeah, I'm I'm from the eastern lands, beyond the mountains.
He sort of looks to that way.
My
you?
my people love the forest.
He turns around. This is my forest. Now you go. This here, we claim this land for here. We will be go in 3 days. You have this place 3 days.
Well, we want to simply parlay it and maybe trade and pass by. We only have some questions to ask.
He looks and
We don't want your oasis or your land.
he turns to his companions and says something, and they all begin nodding their head. And he looks and he goes, "Okay, what do you trade? What do you need?"
So, how is the ground here?
How is the what?
Ground, is it dirt?
Yeah, it's dirt. It's grassy plain, right? But it's scrub grass.
So I'm gonna take a stick or rock or a point of my dagger and draw it on the ground and draw I use this symbol and say, looking for army, enemy.
He looks very agitated as you draw. As those behind him begin chattering in whatever tongue they're chattering. By the way, if anybody understands old Backloonish, you would understand what they're saying. But I don't think anybody really.
I don't.
I don't think anybody has that dialect. But they're all sort of chattering back and forth.
Comprehend languages would be great right about now.
Yeah. And
wait a minute. Well, I can read language. I can't.
He walks over and he spits on the picture. This, you no go him. You no go. He is.
He my enemy, so I spit on it too.
What is your charisma bonus?
Not very great. I have a 9, so I have no bonus. My henchman is 4.
Okay. All right. So he looks and he sort of looks at you and he looks at the rest of you guys.
I have to defer to the paladin for the charisma.
Is you seek travel with him?
No, I seek to stop him, slay him, send him back from whence he came.
You come. And he turns and he walks and he gets on his horse and they all sort of follow him and they head back to the oasis.
I wave my companion's horn and I go hit my horse.
Okay.
We'll bring it. I'll bring it to you.
Yeah, we'll follow.
All right, you guys, you follow this nomad to the encampment. and you can see that excitement is sort of happening because there's new people here, whatever the case may be. But the leader or whoever he is, the chief or whatever you want to call him, is sort of barking out orders to people, and people are running around and whatnot. And he waits for you, and as soon as you guys all arrive, assuming you dismount, he looks at you and he waves, "You come," and he walks to one of the tents that are set up, and he flips open the flaps and enters in, expecting you guys to follow. You, assuming that you do,
Yep.
you enter into this tent, and it is warmly lit, but you hear chanting going on from inside the tent, and you could smell several incenses. Immediately, a cinnamon type of a smell sort of hits your nostrils, followed by another more flowery kind of a scent. And as you get in, you can see that there are two old grizzled women praying and chanting over this girl, probably in her late teens, early 20s. She is pale, sweaty, like moaning and almost like she's writhing in pain.
She might have a fever or something.
But as you look, you can see that she has a wicked gash on her shoulder. And you can see it's infected with some kind of a blackness of some kind.
Poison, maybe.
And he looks and says, "The demon and his army kill my people. Try to kill daughter, you fix."
And
as you guys are standing there, you notice that there's now about 30 or 40 of the tribes folk that are kind of behind you outside the tent. The first 15 or 20 of them are fighting age males with spears and swords.
Yeah.
You fix.
So I'll start looking her over and try to identify what's going on here.
So she has been inflicted or infected with some kind of a poison, and from what you can tell, it's sort of it's like a bacterial thing that's eating away her flesh.
Ooh.
Sort of like a disease-like poison.
Do I think that the
sorry, go ahead.
spell would fix that, or
yeah, probably.
Restoration, maybe.
Yeah, they look at that or a cure disease or a cure poison or something along those lines.
I have all of them. Whichever one I think would work best.
So does the paladin. Yeah, it would probably be a combination of poison and disease. So you probably have to cast them both.
Okay. Let's go to the first spell.
First, I'm going to detect evil.
No, you detect no evil in this area.
Does Ronnie recognize anything particular about this ailment being either from a plant or a bite?
So, it looks to you like it's blade infected, although it's a rather slashing, sort of serrated blade. Very much in line with some of the things that IU's priests like to have, like daggers of venom. And they have saw-like blades. Instead of smooth blades, they have saw-like serrated blades that like to rip and tear as they do. So from your take, Ronnie, you would say it's probably some follower of IU's, either a priest or maybe one of the orcs or one of the army, whatever. But regardless, it injected some kind of a poison or some sort of a disease in her along with the poison.
Well, I let these guys know that, and then I'm going to go. I'll be right back.
Yep. Oh, actually, also, you guys recognize, I guess that's where I was kind of going. The blade itself injected poison, but you think she had some sort of a spell cast on her to cause disease while at the
All
same
right.
time.
So,
So it was probably a cleric of some kind.
uh-huh. All right. Well, keep that in mind. If we get hit by these guys, we're probably going to have the same problem. All right. So first, I'll hit her with a neutralized poison.
Okay.
So I'm going to cast that,
Okay.
and then it says attack neutralized poison as attack or
No, you don't
effect?
have to. Just do
Okay.
effect. Effect. Not that it's really good. It's going to probably say you have to target somebody. So I just needed you to cast it, so you cast the actual spell off your spell.
Yeah, I cast it. There. Okay, so that's done. Then I'll do the cure disease.
Okay. Nice. So you begin your prayer to Jaskar, and you lay your hands over her, and as you cast your neutralize poison spell, your hands kind of become lighted as the healing energy transfers from you into this young girl's body, and you watch as the blackness of the poison simply melts away, turning almost into water as it sort of washes away off of her wound, makes its way through her body, and the poison is eventually neutralized, followed by the cure disease. You can feel the evil coming off from this. You recognize that it was in fact a spell, whereas you cast cure disease. You know that evil clerics can flip that and have a cause disease, and that is where it came from. So this infliction was caused by a priest that, while at the same time casting cause disease, was stabbing this young girl with a poison blade. But you feel as you begin to draw this evil, nasty disease out of her, and as you move your hands back, you see almost like this trail of goop being sucked out of the wound in her shoulder until it becomes sort of an undulating mass, and then you clap your hands together around it, and it just evaporates into the air. Immediately, the young girl falls asleep. No more churning or twisting in pain or anything like that. You see
Fever
the wound.
down.
You see the wound has slightly begun to heal, although it's still going to require bandaging and other healing as required. But she's definitely, you feel, and it seems like the fever is already gone as you've removed all of the affliction from her. As the nomad chieftain or whomever he is sees it, he goes and kneels next to the young girl, puts his hand on her shoulder, looks up at you, and sort of clasps your hand like over, forearm to forearm. You fix, daughter. Come, we eat. And outside, people are cheering and clapping, and looks like there's a big party getting set up for tonight.
Hey.
I,
Now she's like she was like a 0 level NPC type of person, right? So she has less than.
Yeah, she's just a couple here or there. So
should I hit her with a cure light, or is that good enough?
no, I think
you probably let her be, and then
Okay.
I will clap you on the back and say, "Well done, my friend. This is how we make allies."
Hopefully.
Or if nothing else, gain a lot of information.
Right.
Right. It's weird that
I'm going to ask the chief, when did it happen?
he said that 3 days ago, strange creatures come through our land. We see army with creatures, so we hide, but some found. We run best we can, but my daughter was attacked and fell. Fortunate we managed to go, as they not seem care about us as they continue along trail. But then we come here, try to come to holy sacred place so we can get her healed. But then you come. God's bless us.
Jaskar, bless you.
Don't know just
So they were
how-
traveling west.
They were, yes, they were the whoever Ayuz's army was traveling to the west. Yes,
To Tobag.
Good, they haven't got there.
That's exactly where they're going.
exactly. So, as a
Well, we're only 3 days behind them.
yeah,
Not too bad.
so you guys, a party is set for the evening. As you guys are sat around the traditional large campfire, as the music and dancing commences, as the sun begins to set fully over the horizon and darkness falls. It is a rather large affair. Before we go too much further, there is no tent for you guys to sleep in, although they do say that there is space available for you by the water if you guys want to. Excuse me, if you guys want to camp there.
Yeah, that
you
would be
could do
fine.
that.
Yeah, that's fine. Yep.
But as the party goes on, I will give you guys opportunity to talk to the chieftain or some of those seated around the chieftain. If you, I should note that the chieftain does not appear to have a wife by his side, but there's like an old crinkled lady that sits to the right of him, slightly back from him sitting up a little more forward.
Well,
They,
Liam, I'd like to ask the locals around there about healing herbs and certain things that are in this territory that I might be able to just notice when I walk as we're walking through.
Okay. So there are a couple of apparently what they call their healers, and they show you here in the oasis a couple of roots that they use, particularly for pain, to help relieve pain. As they pull some roots out and they show you these blackened kind of roots and stuff, and they have sort of a cinnamon smell to them. You have not seen these roots before. It's a different region of plant, although you do know of similarly working plants that kind of have the same effect, right? So you're able to correlate between the two. Oh, this plant works like this medicine. This plant works like that medicine. The medicines that they show you, for the most part, seem to be things like for pain. They show you how they use some mud and leaves combined from some of the plants and trees here at this oasis that you can put over wounds to help stimulate the healing process. So they kind of like cake the mud on it and then they wrap these leaves on it. They get the leaves wet and they sort of almost forms like a cast on your arm when the plant dries or whatever. It's almost like this thick sort of structure on your arm to act like a big, huge Band-Aid, if you will.
A poultice.
Yeah, kind of stuff like that, right? So nothing too esoteric, nothing too whatever. But one thing that they do show you is that one of the plants, when you chew it, while it won't save you, it will help buy you time. Many of the creatures here, even the small, are deadly poison. Scorpions, spiders, etc. And they have this plant that they're able to mix and drink, and it helps stave off the effect of a poison, until you can get to a proper healer, right? So it acts kind of like a slow poison, but not quite as effective as a slow poison, right? So, but yeah, so they kind of most of their stuff is like that, right? Nothing real high end healing, etc., etc. Nothing at all like Deglin. Deglin is like a god to some of these people, who are just staring at his bald head, wondering who is this guy and why does he have no hair and how did he heal this young girl. Um, but yeah,
All right. Well,
Okay.
Dean,
I
if
want
it's
to ask if
portable, I would take a few of those concoctions with me.
okay, absolutely.
there any quick way to get to the stones. Is there any shortcut?
Yeah, I was going to ask about when
You
they knew about told on, about the
I'm looking
police and
around to see if
whatnot.
there's anybody that looks like a magic user.
yeah, they have shaman, but 2 minutes into talking with one of these shaman, you realize that they have no magical ability whatsoever. It's all deity
Focus,
based,
focus.
kind of stuff. Like we pray to the gods that this will happen, or whatever. They don't have, true magic users, per se. As for the Tovag, the chieftain, who, by the way, you find his name is Chirac, and the daughter that you saved was Akenia. Chirac tells you that the Tovag is an ancient, sacred place to the nomad people of the steppes. But many years ago, evil, he doesn't know the word for it, but it's cultists, began to arrive and essentially killed and drove away any who would try to enter the Tovag for prayer or ceremony or whatever. And it's been 10 years now that these cultists have been had usurped the Tovag for their own designs, and many times have the nomads been able to see strange lights and mystical things happening deep within the center of the Tovag, but none has ever been able to get there to see what it is. But it's obvious that these evil men, in whatever it is that they're trying to do, are using the Tovag's power of the gods to do their bidding. And so they tend to stay as far away as they can, traveling from oasis to oasis. But that's about it.
Can we get a approximate number of the complement that they saw going with? Well, and then I'll also ask, did they see a powerful figure amongst them that would be like their leader?
No. But we felt great evil as they swept upon us. There were maybe 50 of these demon soldiers that attacked my people.
Hmm. Well, you said there were some creatures that went with them.
Yeah, he's never seen orcs and stuff either. So
Oh, they were orcs. Okay.
as far
So
as I know, yeah,
based on his description, we can imply orcs. Okay.
yeah, orcs. Yep.
Now that was on top of the regular humans, or was that
There
was
was a
the demon?
mix. It was a mix. There
Oh.
was a mix of humans, orcs, probably ogres, other creatures that maybe these guys had heard of legend, but had never really
Right.
seen in practice.
Okay, but they didn't see like a major leader, somebody that would be riding ahead or in
No,
high
they-
esteem or anything like that.
no, none that they saw. No.
Okay. Let me
If
think.
we head west on the trail, is there any dangers on the trail to the west?
Always danger of creatures. Creatures. Common to this. Probably, perhaps, some time you see dragon,
Blue.
but mostly see other nomads. Sometimes the horsemen. Sometimes other creatures, but
Are the other nomads and horsemen, are they friendly or hostile?
horsemen are good folk. Legend says gods made them horsemen in order that they can fight with sword while run like horse. And they protect the Tovag, but were not able to stop evil cult from taking Tovag. Now sometimes small groups of horsemen attempt to go and remove the evil usurpers from the Tovag, but it's been many years, so I do not know if they are able to.
Okay. So possible allies then.
Possible allies. And from the description, you guys have never seen, but from description, he calls horsemen. The gods took a man and blended him with a horse and made the horseman.
Centaurs. Ah.
So you've heard legends and heard stories of centaurs, but you perhaps have never seen them.
Right.
Well, do they have any kind of a flag or tribal symbol that we might be able to wave to a group that we're traveling across so that we can signal we're friendly with this group?
No, the horsemen stay alone. They do not mix with others. But they do not slaughter and kill like this evil army does, nor the cult that has usurped our beloved Tovag.
Okay. You said there were some creatures out here that were commonplace, spiders and scorpions. Do you guys have like a natural defense against them?
Run. Don't let them bite you.
Ah, okay.
No.
What about while sleeping?
No, we have our healers are able to help remove poison if bite happens, but
All right. Well, I mean, sleeping on the ground next to the water, are we in danger of that?
no, the camp safe.
Okay.
But always some sleep one eye open. Any kind of chuckles.
Ah, okay. How's the food? What are they serving us?
They are roasting what appears to be a goat or a pair of goats. So food is okay. They have some rudimentary potato-like things, some date-like things, heavy on the meat. They actually have alcohol. It's a very bitter ale that they provide if you want to drink, as well as water.
this being very cautious with low intake.
Right. But regardless, that it goes fairly well for a few hours as people are as interested in you guys asking all kinds of questions.
Do they all speak common, but it's just like a second language to
No,
them?
most of them don't speak. The older the adults, some of the adults seem to speak it better. All of the adults have like a very basic rudimentary. Most of it, your this, that, and the other is done by kind of like hand gestures and kind of like charades, trying to get you to understand what they're talking about.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The children don't seem to know anything but their own native tongue. So more than likely, as they get older and they deal in trade and stuff like that, they tend to um, pick up on the language, and the trade language tends to be common because they probably deal with not just other tribes, but from one end of the dry steppes to the other, you're bordering other countries as well. So there's probably some kind of trade at some of these bigger towns. So with that, the party goes for a few more hours before it begins to wind down, allowing you guys the opportunity to pitch your camp. Anything we want to do before we hit the bed?
I'll catch Wyvern Watch,
Okay.
and also let the chieftain tell his people don't come near our encampment. I'm going to inspel it.
Okay. As that is done. Anybody else?
Yeah.
All right. So, that being said, in the morning, you guys arrive, and you can go ahead and give yourself a rest to recoup your spells or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
Not going to worry about it. I wasn't going to have anything. But in the morning, you guys arrive, and it is rather chilly in the morning. You couldn't believe how cold it actually got in the evening. But you guys do awaken, and the oops, holy cow, where'd that come from? And in the morning, you see that the camp folks have begun their breakfast or begun their morning routine, etc. It doesn't look like they're breaking camp or going anywhere. So this is where you guys are. And as I said, it's rather cool out, and there's a light wind blowing. And as you can see, that even a light wind over this terrain causes like a billowing dust cloud just to kind of go from like northeast to southwest. It's like blowing out of the north and coming down across your path, giving a rather dusty ride as you guys break camp and get ready to head toward the Tovag.
That's why I wanted to be prepared for this.
Right.
Yeah. So I wrapped my face up to protect it from the wind, put my coat and hood up.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Any last bits that you guys want to do as you move to head out? No?
Well, I mean, this might help cover our tracks anyway. And so, although it might be a little challenging going in the sandstorm. But,
Okay. All right. So you begin to move your way west as you guys bid your nomad companions goodbye. It's probably going to be. Why is this not letting me move it? Hello. That's bizarre. Really bizarre. It's probably going to be about, let's see, each one of these hexes, I forget what I said. I think is it. Yeah, each one of these hexes is 5 miles. So it's like 5, 10, 15, 20. It's about a 1-day ride. So you guys should be able to get to the Tovag toward the end of the day, as long as nothing occurs.
And can we see the?
Sorry, Ronnie. See what?
Can we see the clear path that large force left in front of us?
Actually, no. You don't. You see, you're on sort of a trail, for lack of a better term. You can see it's a well-worn traveling path, but with the winds and the dusts, and it's been a few days, you don't see. You see remnants of a lot of traffic, but you don't know for sure was this the army, because this trail looks pretty well worn over the hundreds of years or however long it's been. So the short answer is no, you don't see anything that would indicate that a large army force or anything passed through this direction. That being said, like I said, the wind will help cover it. And 2, don't forget you're traveling with a rather powerful entity, and you are very familiar with things like pass without trace, etc., etc. So it's quite possible that they use magic to cover their trail as well, because the priests of St. Cuthbert were not even able to scry or divine where Ayus might be. It was just fortunate that you guys happened to find out about the Tovag and then find out about Ayus himself and what's going on. So, yeah.
Here's an idea. Just while we were back in Greyhawk and we were studying this, did we ever discuss possibly going and getting into the lake at the southeastern end with a boat?
Nope.
And maybe traveling up the coast?
Did not.
Instead of coming down the main road? No?
You did not. You're welcome to do that if you'd like to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
It's only 10
Yeah.
miles. It's like 10 mile. So it's like what? On a horse. See, I can walk 2 miles in an hour if I'm walking at just a slow pace. So you can.
it won't take very long.
Yeah, you can get there in like 3 hours maybe, to get to the edge of the lake if that's what you want to do.
That might be a good idea to pull off any like watches and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
They might
Yeah.
have people on the road watching the road. You
Oh
know?
yeah,
That's-
sure they do. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's do that.
Maybe
then.
we'll go down here to the south area.
Okay. So you guys bid, as I said, you guys bid your companions goodbye, and about 3 hours later, you find yourselves on the edge of the lake. Hang on a second. Trying to look something up here. Get my notes back. So you guys approach the edge of this lake, and you can see that although it is a lake, it is perfectly still. There's still a light wind blowing, so there's a little bit of dust kind of blowing across the lake itself, giving a little bit of a ripple effect. But for the most part, it is completely still. About a quarter mile away, you can see there is some kind of structure or something built on the edge of the lake. Not really sure what it is, but even from this distance in the early morning light, you can see that there are figures moving around this structure. It's on the edge of the lake, so you can easily put your boat into the water and go on the other side of the lake, and be 2 miles, 3 miles away from them as you pass. But you can see this structure sort of on this edge, like right in here, somewhere in this area. What do you want to do?
Well, you said it's about a quarter mile away.
Yeah, they're quarter mile, half mile, somewhere in there.
I don't know, Varys. Do you think you would sneak up on it, or should we try a different tack?
Well, you can get past them. You just put your boat in the water and go around them, and you, like I said,
Well, yeah, but they're going to be able to see us on the water. If they've got ballistas or whatever, they can blow us the hell up.
From 2 miles away.
Oh, it's 2 miles across that? Because if we're seeing them and they're only a quarter mile from us,
yeah,
that lake doesn't look like that wide.
No, each one of these hexes is 5 miles.
Oh, okay.
So they're going to be if they're on the edge of the water on the southern edge, and you get in the water and go along the northern edge, it's going to be at least a mile away, I would say.
Okay.
At least.
That's safer. Okay, I was thinking like it would be like they'd be right on top of us. We have to go right past them.
No.
Do they look like more nomads or horsemen or something else?
So they look human from where you're at. There are some horses there. They don't necessarily look nomad. It looks like
Yes, my horse.
What's that?
We need like a looking glass from like a ship spyglass or whatever.
Yeah, you can't. It's like I'm gonna see if I can do this. See if I'm gonna post something. I know it's this. The stream won't be able to see it, but I'm gonna post something in the Discord.
Okay.
This is kind of like the region that you guys are in, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so, but you can see a structure built like right along the edge, but it looks like a permanent structure. So, not sure if it's like a settlement of some kind, but there's only looks like one big building. And from the looks of it, you can see these large pipes going out into the lake.
Oh, my goodness. Something left over from when it was a foolish land or something.
Right.
And maybe somebody took it over.
Could be.
Does it look like it might be in partial ruin?
A ruin?
Yeah.
No, it actually looks fairly new wood type construction.
Oh, okay.
And like I said, you can see that there is these pipes that go out into the lake, into the water, and again, you can see bodies moving around, workers of some kind or whatever they're doing. You can see there are large wagons outside as well.
I will take a look at the water since we're here.
Yep. The water.
Test it, make sure it's not acid or something.
Yeah. As you look at. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to like smell the air. Smell the air.
Salty. Very salty.
Does it look like there's a lot of salt in the water?
That's what I said. It's like the Great Salt Lake. It's
like
it's a dead lake that's like super heavy in salt water.
We're gonna have a hard time. Well, I mean, the boat can move on its own.
Yeah, the boat will be fine.
But yeah, they're probably mining this and selling it or whatever.
Right. That makes sense. They're using that to suck water out and extract salt, which salt is a well-known commodity in various places.
Well, you'll need it to live in this kind of environment too.
Yeah.
So
Roman legionnaires used to get paid in salt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well,
Okay. All right. Gotcha, Daft. All right. So you guys place your boat into the water.
Yes.
All right.
I probably don't want to bother them then. Because we don't want to draw attention to ourselves.
All right. So you place the boat into the water. You all hop aboard and begin to move your way along the lake.
Yep.
Eventually, you guys reach a region where you can actually see the Tovag coming into view. And I'm going to read this description here really quick, and then you guys can ask questions. As you guys get within about a half mile or so, you can see rising up out of the mists before you a large ancient structure of standing stones. An artificial circle, which is tiled in pale stone blocks nearly a mile in diameter, is situated at the edge of a large salt flat along the lake. Sand, wind-blown soil, and encroaching salt cover much of the circle. Closer to the center of this vast circle, huge smooth obelisks of the same white stone form a series of smaller concentric circles. The pillars are entirely featureless, though some are fluted. Each pillar towers some 40 feet into the sky. Many of them form impressively high archways. Roadways of the ubiquitous white stone rise a foot above the detritus, connecting the various stone segments from the edge to the center. And before we go here, let me do this. Just so you know, each square here is 30 feet. So every time you move, it's 30. So you can see this thing is almost a mile wide. Not quite, but it's close to a mile wide as you guys approach the one side. But before we go any further, we're going to take a break. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
And as always, we'll be back in about 15 minutes. I hope you guys will be here when we get back. Hopefully our players will still be awake. Not sure if any of them still are. But let me get my timer going.
Excuse me,
here.
I'm sorry.
Old guy
Pardon, excuse
problems.
Well, what?
Old guy problems, yep. All right, we'll be back in about 15 minutes. Hopefully you guys will be with us as our party begins, perhaps, maybe, the foray into the Tovag Barragoon. We'll be back shortly.
All right, I'm gonna attack. Sorry, I was streaming.
Think about the people who inspire you most. Guess what? They don't have all the answers, but they do know how to ask for support when they need it. Therapy is a great way to find that support. BetterHelp has experienced therapists ready to help you with challenges ranging from clinical issues to the stress of everyday life. And it's convenient too. Build your support system with BetterHelp. Tap now or visit BetterHelp, HELP.com/pressplay today to get 10% off your first month.
All right, I'm back.
I never left.
I had to go put my plate in the sink. I'm hoping that coming by water might have helped us out a bit.
Do what?
I I'm hoping that coming by water might have helped us out a bit, invaded some of their sentries.
I can create water.
Yeah, I'm just saying that by taking the ship and going that way instead of the path, we might have avoided some entanglements with their scouts or whatever, sentries.
We'll probably run into the termite river monster that eats up wooden boats.
Yeah, probably. What are these bricks right here? I don't know what those are. And then they see these arches. Like here and here. Some type of arch. I'm wondering if that's like a path right here. That's got to be the stone circle in the very center. Oh. Very Stonehenge-esque. From what Varys put out.
I was thinking crop circle.
Yeah, crop circle. It's the aliens! I'm not gonna say it's aliens, but it's aliens!
Well, you know.
I'm gonna put platinum and make a cap out of platinum, put on my head.
Yeah.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Taste it all for less with our Sonny's Originals, packed with your choice of proteins, 2 sides, and bread, starting at $16.99. That's why it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
I just found out Zadkiel is the name of an angel.
And we are back. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to tonight's episode of Agora Quest 21 Shots. I am Sean, your host. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight as our party has just moved up to the edges of the Tovag Baragu, which sits on a rather flat area. Couple of items to note. Number one, as you guys have traveled in this environment, as I said, it's primarily grassland. There are copses of trees here and there. Of course, you saw the nomads in their oasis and whatnot. But around the Tovag, you can see it's almost completely void of any vegetation whatsoever, other than bits and pieces of small scrub grass around the outside edges. Once you get past the first circle, there's like literally nothing there. You can see that there are the walls themselves are or the Tovag itself, you can see is just a whole bunch of stone rings set about this entire place. But you can see that there are like roadways sort of built along as if to travel, like you would pass along this one on the bottom right over here all the way through to this inner circle and then move off to the left and then travel on to another one to the inner circle. The inner circle, you can see even from this distance, is primarily enclosed. There's like almost no gaps between any of the archways. And the last thing that I want to note is that from here you can see all the way past the Tovag, and you can see the hills in the distance. And even from here, about 2 miles away probably, so a mile away from the Tovag, you can see the hills sort of sweeping upward, and you can see hundreds of tents lining the hillside, as it appears there is a small army encamped on the far northeastern side of the Tovag Baragoo, about a mile away from it. But nothing closer, it doesn't look like. So.
Well, I figured out what happened. Somehow I got disconnected.
What do you mean? What happened?
He lost hearing for a second there.
I've been disconnected from Discord, and when you came back, I had no idea what was going on. I'm back.
All right, man. Welcome back.
So, I'm going to look at as much as I can, within distance through the gem of seeing and see if there's anything that I might be not catching.
No, it definitely appears to be some kind of a encampment. All right, so.
Oh, I'm talking about the stone circles themselves.
Oh, the stone circle? Oh, no, yeah. Everything, as you look through, you can see waves and waves of energy flowing around the entire place.
Oh. Okay.
And we don't see anybody inside or on the whole thing.
Not from here, you can't know.
Does this look like anything that Ronnie might recognize from other druid circles?
It's very similar to druid circles you're familiar with, but you've never seen them in concentric circles like this. They've always been a single group of stone circles. You've never seen it on this scale where they've got like circles within circles. You know what I mean? So nothing that you have experienced or heard or seen that would be that would allow you to be like familiar with it, other than you're very familiar with stone circles.
Did it say anything in the lore about what this stone circle does?
So let me go back a little bit. So unsure what its original purpose was, but in the lore that you guys read, it was said that the stone circles can open portals to distant planes and more importantly, they claim that some portals can open to distant times.
Right. Okay, I remember that.
But nobody knows how that works or how to control it, or at least they didn't. But the cult of Vecna is here, and it is a holy place for him, apparently. So maybe they're able to use the portals in some way or shape.
Right.
But you don't know, right? You just know that the cult is here. But be that as it may, you guys, as you are standing on this sort of sandy, salty beach, you can see these stone, rocky steps leading down to the base of the Tovag. And like I said, even though it shows greenery, most of this entire place is sort of flat, sort of pale, rocky color as far as the floor goes. The roadways are elevated up several inches because even though it's flat stone, there's detritus everywhere. There's leaves and rocks and other rubble and stuff that has over time has just kind of blown across the base of the Tovag. But these stone pathways are about probably raised up about a foot or so off of that. So you guys can utilize them to walk if you didn't want to walk within the leaves and rocks and whatnot.
Where did I see this power emanating from? The circles or the areas in between the circles?
Primarily around the central circle, around the central.
Okay.
But it was just like everywhere. Very.
What are these stones that are right in front of us here? These square
There's stone steps that lead down.
Steps. Oh, okay.
Varys, your sharp eyes depict what looks to be a tiny plume of grayish black smoke rising from the center circle.
They're already there. All right, so if they got there, we can get there. Do we want to try to take this shortest path?
I mean,
and then walk on the ground?
I mean, they're 3 days ahead, more or less. And I'm sure he didn't pause for dinner. I'm sure he drove his minions on as far as he could. So, is this like an easier path?
It looks like there's two direct paths. Okay.
Well, so there's nothing hard to walk on. It's stone. It's a stone base, right? Flat stone, like tile almost. But there's like bits of broken rock and leaves and twigs and stuff spread out everywhere. However, there are these raised stone pathways between that you're able to utilize to walk between circles.
You see the picture I posted in this one?
Yeah.
Pulled it from the wiki.
Yeah. Yep. That's actually what you're looking at. It's on the hill, but you guys are off to the left over there along the.
Yeah.
So again, you are not required to walk along these pathways, right? Because you can see each one of the archways, right? That's there. Along the blue circles, if you look, if you zoom in, you can see these little archways.
Arches.
Okay, those are the openings in the.
Yeah, those are literally archways. Like there's nothing blocking it. That blue circle is just to show you where they stand as far as concentric circles go. But you can walk right over the blue circle, right all the way into the center if you wanted to. But I will say that when you get to the center, there are 5 raised stone paths that lead into the center, and the center circle, the archways are so close together is that there's really almost no gap between them, so you have to use one of the stone walkways to get to the very center. I'm just giving you the option, right? So you guys just tell me you can walk. Just remember, every square that you're on is 30 feet. So when you're moving and stuff like that. So, But what do we want to do? It is.
Well, I can walk across with my horse.
You don't.
Yeah,
I mean, you guys do have your horse, and you are.
probably don't want to ride. I mean, that makes us a bigger target.
You guys
Not
are
that.
on the boat on the little salt flat there with your horses.
Oh yeah, I probably want to get off the boat, pack it up, and hide. I don't know if we're gonna be able to hide the horses. But we probably don't want to necessarily ride out in the wide open right up there.
Right.
Right. Where are the tents? You said they were up here on the northern edge on these cliffs.
Yeah, up to the northeast, about a mile away. So you got the.
Oh, okay.
They're off this map. They are off this map
Oh,
about
right.
a mile in the distance.
So see if we can find a place where we could tie the horses off where they would be fairly safe.
Okay.
And then, where do you want it? You think?
I
Go
will
ahead.
say that there is no like hidden area anywhere. It's literally set at the base of these hills. There's no trees anywhere. There's no caves anywhere. There's no nothing. It's just wide open, flat space here. So, I mean, you could tie your horses off to whatever you want, but there is literally nothing to hide them in. If anybody was to walk down here, they would see your horses easily.
Well, what do you think? Should we take one of the paths? Because looks like there's 3 complete paths that go all the way through. Or do we just want to walk straight across the ground?
I'm sure there's some kind of puzzle here that, depending on the time of day, you walk a path or something like that.
That might have something to do with the sun and moon and stars and all that.
Do you think they move?
Do
you think they actually move?
No, but it might have something to do with like the solstices and all that kind of stuff. Because there are significant solar and lunar stuff in Greyhawk. So there is a calendar.
Well, I'm looking fairly closely at this north to northwest to southeast looking path. This one.
And if it's gates,
there's no arches along that entire route. Oh, there might. Oh, nope, there is one at the very end. There's an arch right here. But up here, there's
all of them do. They don't necessarily.
Oh, they all do. Some of them I can't.
It's a misprint. Yeah,
it's not just a misprint, but I mean it's just hard to see. At the end of each one of them, they all end in an arch that leads.
Oh yeah, they're on the path.
Yeah, wherever it intersects one of those rings, it has an archway. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I don't know. I it's a crapshoot which way we want to go, guys. I think walking the walkways is probably the safer option. But I don't know if it's.
I mean, the problem is we can't really. I mean, wherever we leave our horses, they're gonna be out in the open anyway.
Right.
We didn't go like near the hills to the north, where we might have been able to hide them.
Yeah, I'm probably not gonna leave the horse by itself.
I mean,
we can lead them. They don't have to walk. We don't have to ride them.
Yeah, we can lead them. Although, yeah, might as well. I mean, they're gonna see us coming anyway, unless I turn invisible, and then they'll see the rest of you, and then see me, and I hit the magic trap or whatever.
We can all take a drink off of potion of invisibility and get 10 minutes of invisibility.
Yeah, but, well, I mean,
Or
the
I'm,
horses will have
I'm
them.
volunteering. I can probably walk across.
I have Airwalk. I have 2 scrolls of that. I'm wondering if we can.
I have those horseshoes that I don't know what they do. I think
Horseshoes of the Zephyr allow you to ride across any surface, including water.
Faster, yeah.
do
Well,
what?
literally, he can ride his horse across an ocean. Right.
Oh,
So,
they allow it.
but they only allow it's only so many hours of a day though. It's
So
not
far.
like it's not 20. Well, it's not 24 hours that you can like nonstop. It's like for 2, 3, 4 hours, whatever it is per day.
Right.
The horseshoes of the Zephyr allow you to do that. I'm pretty sure. I don't think it's like infinite. But anyway, yes, correct, Zadkiel. You do have horseshoes of the Zephyr, which would allow you to ride across without
I'll look 'em up
physically
real quick.
without physically touching the ground.
Yeah, I'll look them up real quick and see what the details are.
What do you guys want to do?
I'm just thinking, DM, does it look like this matches up with any kind of star, moon, or time patterns or constellation?
Go ahead and give me an intelligence roll, please. Just roll a d20 and compare it to your intelligence. Got an ad coming up. Yeah, you can. The horse is able to move at normal speeds. It will not tire for as long as 12 hours continuous. Yep. So Ronnie, it's interesting. It looks to you, like very similar to, stones that, or circles or other such mystical ruins that you know about that track the constellations and the planets. Doesn't really look like it moves or anything. It looks like it just sits here, but probably based on some sort of whether moon or sun or something like that, it would able to tell you like what the date of the, almost like a calendar, like what the date of the year is, etc. So
All right, so so those rock walkways may depict the movement of celestial bodies.
correct. Something that deals in time of some sort. So,
All right, well, guys, I don't think that that's going to keep us from walking in there.
All right. Well, let's proceed then.
Go ahead and move yourselves on where you want to go. Are you taking the horses with you? Are you guys taking horses with you?
Yes.
Okay.
I thought.
I just want to confirm. You're riding your horse? Okay. As Zadkiel rides his horse while you guys lead your horses down. Click, clop, clip. You get down to the floor, or the base, I should say, and it's exactly as I described. It's rocky stone, primarily flat stone surface, but there's like slights of broken rock and debris and whatnot. Not necessarily from the floor, but like rocks and stuff have been blown over time, like windstorms and whatnot blow rocks here. Not big rocks, but just like rubble and debris, leaves, etc., branches. Interestingly, as you guys get an approach and you look at the stone archways, although there's a lot of wear and tear on the surrounding rocks and terrain and stuff, the stone that makes up the archways and pathways of the Tovag really do look like they have almost no wear and tear on them at all. It's like they're impervious to weathering.
Well, we did see a lot of energy forces coming through these rings and on the stones themselves. So,
well, yeah, remember we were told, to be a site for magical portals or whatever too. So some of that may have something to do with time or change of things might come and go, through the portals.
Right.
Well, if we look at those arches, that path from the 3 o'clock has arches that go all the way from the path until that next to last inner circle, and then you go down one, and that might get us in. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm just saying, you guys don't. You're looking at these blue circles that run around like it's a wall. It's not. It's
no. They're just set
yeah,
into the ground. I get that.
You could literally walk from where you're at to this center here, and take any one of these paths into the very center. So you don't have to go under any archway. You don't have to walk along any path if you don't want to. They're just there. Now, do they mean anything? You don't know, but from a viewpoint status, you could literally walk straight to the center. The only thing is you would not be able to get into the actual center because the stones are so close together. There's no gap. However, if you want to jump over the top, it's a 40-foot tall jump. You could jump over the top and then jump down into the middle.
Wouldn't the druid know a lot about this? Or
he's already been asking. He's already been asking.
Yeah, why don't the druid just get on my horse and I'll take him to the middle and he can kind of look at stuff.
It's up to you.
Well, we can try it. So I'll give it a shot, DM.
All right. So you hop up on the paladin's horse. Zadkiel, you just go ahead and go where you're riding to, and I'll just assume Ronnie's going with you.
Where do you want to go?
Oh my gosh.
What looks interesting to you?
Just head towards the middle.
All right. Once you get to here, you then go up onto the little path. It won't let you because it's just slightly off on the squares on the map, but that's fine. But you guys do manage to get to here, and then you have to go through the arch onto the little walkway. You don't even have to go through the arch. You can go over here and just step up. It's only about a foot high, right? But you get up onto this raised walkway and begin moving your way into the center. You reach the center, I assume. You want to bring yourselves to the center. So as you get to the center, you can see, Ronnie and Zadkiel, 18 archways bound the central 90-foot diameter circle. Each of these central archways stands 40 feet high. Some archways have a clear view between their supporting pillars. In other words, you can look right through it and see the ground on the other side, right? You can just look through the archway and see the other side. It looks like grass and rock, just like you're standing. However, some other ones have distortions that fill their archways in the form of strange mists and flickering lights. You can see several unmoving forms litter this hub as if they had been flung from a detonation marked by a scarred and black stone tile toward the center of the circle. The damaged block where this detonation apparently occurred emits a dark haze of acrid black smoke that just rises up and then eventually gets carried away by the wind. But it's like the remnants of a smoking fire. The smoke just kind of twirls up, but
smoldering.
Exactly. But it looks like these bodies, a half a dozen of them or so, were toward the center of the circle, and something just blasted from the center and sent them flying in all different directions, now to be unmoving on the ground. All of them are wearing leather type armor with black cowled hooded cloaks.
Are these IU's cloaks that we've seen before?
No clue. You're not there.
No,
Yeah,
okay.
no, I'm just messing with you. No, they do not appear to be like IU's cloaks that you guys have saw before.
Ronnie, what do you think?
Well, I think that they did something that caused
Ritual?
them to, or something to blow up.
Landmines?
Maybe they were desecrating this area, or maybe they were trying to do a ritual.
Could be, or they entered portals and that was the result. I don't know.
Portals.
Maybe you have to be pure of heart and mind or truly neutral to go through a portal.
Do I detect any evil around here?
No, you do not. It is a rather calming, peaceful place.
How does my horse react?
It's a war horse, so it's used to
danger.
So although I don't have them on the map or the body, and you guys are not there right now, it's only Zadkiel and Ronnie. This is what the inner circle looks like to you guys.
Ah.
And
that blue stuff is the smoke.
So no, the blue stuff in the flickering and the lights and stuff you can see, these are in the archways of these three arches. The rest of the archways you can look right through as if, you can see right through them. But these three particular archways that you look at have like hazy clouds with like flickering lights and flashing lights in them. The black smoke is rising from the very center of this circle area. There's like a big blast mark right here in the center, and there's several bodies that are just sort of strewn about in different places. I just don't have them on the map.
Right. I think
Well,
the
those
rest of us
must be
should,
portals to some other time or some other place. Those three that are lit up.
should the rest of us go ahead and catch up with Zadkill then?
Up to you. You guys decide what you want to do. This is
Yeah,
your
I'm gonna
game.
peek up. Does it look like the army's doing anything?
Beg your pardon, sir? Sorry.
Does it look like the army is moving or doing anything?
It does not. Do not
Up to the
see any
north?
movement. You can see campfires and stuff up there, but it doesn't appear to be as if they're doing anything. At least from a mile away, you can't see. No.
Okay, I'm gonna move up into the circle then.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Well, keep my words to him.
Darren will following the same path they took in there.
All right. As you guys enter into the central zone, as I described before, 18 archways bound the central 90-foot diameter circle, each standing 40 feet high. Some arches allow a clear view between their supporting pillars, while haze, strain lights, and other visual distortions fill the other throughways. Unmoving forms litter the hub as if flung from a detonation marked by a scarred and blackened stone tile in the very center. The damaged block continually emits a dark haze of acrid black smoke that rises up into the air to be carried away by the wind.
Do any of the active portal areas line up with the longest radii going into?
Let me
the
look and
circle?
see. I don't think so. Let me double check on my map though here real quick. Yeah, is that right?
Thank you, Lando. I was trying to do that.
Actually, yes. This one up here lines up with one of the strands that goes all the way from the center to the outer circle. The other one is here. There's another one here. There's one here. And the other one is here. If that helps.
Yeah, we need to examine here and here. Then
Anything different about those areas?
Okay. Go ahead and give me a search check.
All of us, or
Yeah, everybody go ahead, because I assume you guys are all going to be searching around.
D6, right?
Yeah.
What the hell is up with the 4s?
Everybody got a 4. All right, so searching. Why are we?
That rolled
rolled 2d6. Because he's all about it.
He's got 2 eyes. Hey, you know.
Yep. So searching the searching the archways and whatnot. None of them appear to be any different than any of the other archways, other than the fact that 3 of them have this misty lightning stuff going through it.
Okay, but we cannot see a destination on the other side of the arch.
That is correct.
Either side of the arch.
That is correct. One of the things that you do notice, however, as you guys are walking around, I know you didn't specifically say, but I'm sorry, I can't see Varys not checking out bodies as you guys are walking along. You guys do notice that the bodies are, first of all human. They wear different types of clothing indicating different sort of classes, if you will, like maybe a fighter type or a rogue type or whatever the case may be. But one thing they all have in common, even though the bodies are like blown apart, not blown apart, but like got hit by a blast from somewhere, every one of them has a tattoo on their wrist. It looks like an emaciated hand with an eyeball in the palm. Every one of them has that same tattoo on it.
Vec.
You don't know. You've never. You don't.
No, but I'm making a guess here.
Yeah, I mean, it's hand and eye.
It's not I use, so assume it's focus.
Assume it's who?
Focus on Vector.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're definitely not IUs. They don't have the markings of IUs. And like I said, they have this emaciated hand with an eyeball in its palm. Every one of them has the same tattoo on their wrist. Other than that, it looks like everything that they had on them has taken. Weapons, any pouches, anything. Looks like the bodies have already been pilfered.
All right. Now that we're inside the circle, I'm gonna pull out this gem of seeing again and see if there's any difference.
Okay. You can see pulsating energy around the entire, really all of the circles, but definitely more so around the 3. Although you still can't see through it. Those 3 that have the light and whatever in them definitely pulsate a stronger, more intense type of a magic. But there is a sort of a halo of magic around the entire place.
Okay. What about the black smoke?
It looks to be exactly what it appears. Give me a wisdom check, please, if you would, Deglin.
All right, let me open the character here. Wisdom.
Ronnie's got his blaster out just in case something walks through.
Roger that. So Deglin, as you're looking around, and you kind of look at this black smoke, and you realize, looking at the bodies, they are decaying, right? They've been dead for several days, right? But
Right.
this black smoke looks like the blast just happened. It's like it's almost as if the whatever spell caused the explosion is still emanating this black acrid smoke. So it must have been something pretty damn powerful for 3, 4, 5, whatever days later. I mean, it's been several. You can't even say it's only been 2 or 3 days. These bodies are decaying to the point looks like they've been here for several days. And so yeah, it's just an anomaly, right?
Okay.
It's weird that these.
I have Baron has 2 questions.
Okay.
He's going to dismount, and he's going to go look at this blackened area.
Okay.
And see if he could figure out if this is some sort of a lightning spell or something else.
Okay.
I'll give you a warning though, just so you're aware of what I'm seeing through the gem. That this looks like it's still active. So whatever blasted these bodies,
my head into it.
yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what made this thing. Was it some sort of a lightning spell?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and give me an intelligence check, please.
That I can do. Okay, 1 intelligence check coming up.
So as you look at this, you definitely get the impression that it might have been some kind of a lightning or some kind of a force explosion, but whatever it was, to do what it did to these bodies and sent them flying like 30, 40 feet in all directions is something beyond your ken.
My other question is, do any of these bodies look like they've been feasted on by birds?
No.
Or have insects on them?
Well, insects in the sense, yes. So not so much insects, but like worms and whatnot are probably starting to eat the bodies, maggots, things like that. But they have been here several days, and that's the other thing that catches both you.
Nature appears to be taking its course.
Yes, but like I said, interesting to you, whatever this was or whomever casted this spell is well beyond your scope of power knowledge.
And we've never heard of a spell like this, huh?
No. So instantly your thoughts come.
I certainly have. Like I'm familiar with a lightning bolt.
Yeah.
But
oh yeah, absolutely.
Have the power to do what I'm looking at here.
Yeah, but whatever this did, this is well beyond a lightning bolt. It's lightning bolt similar in the sense that it caused a blast, an explosion. But again, whatever was powerful enough to do that is well beyond you. And immediate thoughts for both Deglin and Baron come, Ayu's probably did this, whatever it was.
That's what I'm thinking. Did he maybe make a rift? And then somehow the rift would only open to him? I don't know. I'm just guessing here, spitballing.
Not for sure. What do we want to do?
Don't have a clue. I'll be completely honest. I have no idea.
Baron's going through his magical memories here.
Okay.
And he's looking at this thing going, no clue. I mean, it's possible. It is possible that somebody has opened up a portal.
Yeah, I think there's 3 that we can visually see.
Okay, and then caused a lightning type effect to come in from it. That had a force that was able to blast these bodies away from it. Now the parts of the bodies that point in to the into the strike that target area. Okay, are they charred or
More like
or
they're, yes, both. They're concussed and charred.
so some massive form of energy came down and blew them away from the center of the explosion.
That is correct.
Okay, and it looks like that there was some heat that was involved.
Quite possibly, yep.
Are they evenly spaced around the
No, not
smoking
really.
area?
Not really. Same rough distance, maybe. So the same amount of force, but it wasn't like they were all standing in a circle that blew up. They were wherever they were standing, it just blasted them.
Let's try this. Staying away from the black smoke. I'm gonna just take a short jaunt over to here and staying well outside of the area. Just try to look through there and see if I'm seeing anything that can give us a hint of what's going on.
Going through the
That's blue smoky one, yeah.
Okay,
right there. Yeah.
Baron has Baron has walked from where he is to the center to the blast to look in, and then come back. Now, on his way over or on his way back, has he seen anything that that look like footprints or drag marks or
No. No, looks like they were just
or force marks or anything?
no. Well, force marks in the sense of what? Like on the bodies themselves or on the ground? On the ground,
I'm
no,
trying
no.
to figure out whether they flew through the
Yes.
air,
Yes, they did.
or they were forced, or they were dragged across the circle.
No, they it was in the air. However far they went was in the air.
Explosion, blasting the victims.
Maybe a. Go ahead.
Or I was gonna say, do you think it came from the sky? Like maybe someone or something blasted them when they were trying to mess with one of the portals? Or do you think it came from the portal? That's why I want to ask Meryl.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking around to see if there's anything that that looks like footprints.
Yeah, no. From your investigation as you guys look around, it appears as if either the blast emanated immediately right there, like a fireball, let's say. He just cast it and the fireball, boom, blasted right there. Or it came down from the sky and hit and blasted him out. Something, but it does not look like it looked like it came straight from that spot. It didn't look it came at an angle from like one of the portals or anything like that.
Okay.
Straight down.
Yeah, because I mean, if Ayers is here, he wouldn't want the focus of Vecna messing with the portals. He'd want to do that himself. So, or it could be that one of those dragons that the nomads warned us about. I mean, we have no idea who or what protects this place.
Okay.
I mean,
Baron asks the other magic users that are in the party if they know of any any spells that would come from above and strike straight down, because a lightning bolt is going to a lightning bolt is going to come
It,
across in a vertical manner,
well, it could
in
also
a
be shot.
horizontal manner.
It could also be shot vertical if the person was flying above.
It can be
Hypothetically.
shot.
True.
It can be shot from the sky because there's a huge spell called cold lightning, and there's also chain lightning. There's also a whole bunch of other stuff. So
But it would be instantaneous. It wouldn't linger like this. The thing,
no,
the
but
thing,
the burn mark would.
a what?
But the smoldering burn mark might.
These bodies have been dead for multiple days. So
Well,
that means the spell's been going off for multiple days.
Well, remember we were told that time might be affected here as well
That's
because
true.
of the portals. So we have no idea about time in any sense
One
here.
thing that does kind of come to mind is I don't know if it's exactly this thing, but it's called a glyph of warding, and it doesn't usually come up as black smoke though. It's usually like a glyph of some sort, some type of rune
But
or magical circle.
once the glyph was activated, the effect would disappear.
Yeah, usually, but maybe this one's a super powerful version or something. I don't know. Well, we could have somebody touch it.
And you with your gem, you see nothing special. You see
No,
nothing special about the of the blast area.
no. He said it just looks like a black smoke.
Roughly, what's the diameter of it?
What the
black smoke, yeah.
It's the blackened stone is about maybe 6 or 7 feet around.
And it's round. It's not
roughly round. It's
roughly round.
Charred
It's
black
not.
rock.
Is it moving? Is it just like a
No.
column of still
No,
smoke?
it's just a column of still smoke.
I could try using a dust devil and see if I can make it move. I don't know if that would.
Baron recognize any smell that is coming off of this blasted area?
No real smell. It's kind of an acrid smell, kind of like a burnt, a burning smell.
And would it be similar to the result of a lightning bolt? He's thrown a few of those in his day.
Yeah, I guess maybe. Very similar.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I know that when I cast a lightning bolt, okay, there is a smell that comes with it.
Ozone. It's an ozone.
I have no idea what it is, but it has a distinct smell to it that is all of its own. And such a small area makes me think that something was called lightning was called from above.
It just doesn't make sense it would last this long.
All right. You guys are really reading into this. I cast a super powerful spell. It's going to linger here for a year because I cast a spell and it marks where he did it, and it was so powerful it's going to linger here for a year. Now can we move on?
I'm just trying to.
Well, I just don't want to waste 30 minutes of you guys trying to figure out why black smoke keeps rising. Right?
Figure it out.
Yeah, it's there. I mean, if you would have figured it out, I would have told you. There's nothing to figure out.
So We should move
I
on.
used
Okay, I go
blasted the
around and
shit
look
out
at
of
each
whoever
portal.
these
Is there
these
anything I
cultists
can
were.
see?
Say again. Sorry, Nephron. Yeah. So as you're
No,
looking,
I just want to walk around. I think Dagger.
yeah,
Can you see anything in the portals?
No, like I said, the three that you can see that have this smoke and flickering lights and lightning or whatever you want to say in there, you can't see anything through them. It's completely opaque.
Hey, does anybody have Speak with Dead?
The rest
Yeah.
of the rest of them are open, like to walk through and do whatever. You can see through to the other side.
Yeah. Is there a rock that can be tossed through one of these areas?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's rocks and leaves and twigs and everything.
Okay. Okay. Baron will go up to this one over
Okay.
here and pick up a rock and throw it through the portal and see what happens.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit further back.
You don't want to be right up in front of it? Okay.
No, I just want to see if the rock goes through.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It disappears through the portal.
Okay, and I walk around and look on the other side. And do I see the rock?
Unfortunately, you can't fit between the two. I mean,
I can go
yes,
through
you
here,
can.
right?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. That was my mistake. You get to the other side and you see no rock on the ground on the other side.
So these are
Okay, and I will
portals. Yeah.
duplicate what I've done. I will pick up a rock from here and toss it through the portal from this side,
Okay.
and then come back around and look to see if I see the rock.
No, there is no rock on this side.
Okay, that answers one question.
They're portals. They're definitely portals that go someplace else. We don't know where they go. We don't know if they damage us if we go through them.
Well, maybe we should tie a rope like it did in Poltergeist.
Don't go into the light, Carolyn.
So are we in the middle of it all, or are we just in one area?
You are in the middle of the entire Tovag. This is the central circle. So if you go back to the main map, you guys started on the very outside edges. You went right down to the middle, took a path into the center, and now you're in the very center of the Tovag.
So this is the one where they're pretty tight together for the most part.
That is correct.
Okay.
It's you could climb over the top or jump over the top. Even Nephron would have difficulty trying to squeeze between two of the archways.
Well, which one do you want to mess with? Because messing with all three at once is probably a really bad idea.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe we could use that Speak with Dead and ask one of these dead people what they were doing.
Are there any carvings on the inside of these arches?
Interestingly, no. They are smooth stone, almost as if the ravages of time have ignored them.
And there are no carvings or runes on the outside.
That is correct.
What the hell is
Well, why don't we sacrifice one of the horses and have them go in?
Oh, that would be a cruel thing to send a horse alone through a portal.
Well, maybe you could tell the horse, hey, there's feet over there. There's a female horse.
Now, if I were to use my wand of detect magic, would I be able to determine what kind of magic that is?
It's everywhere.
Probably.
Okay, I will do that. I'll reach into my backpack, pull out the wand of detect magic, point it at this portal right here, and see if I can identify the school.
A second here. I know I've got it somewhere. It is some kind of a conjuration teleportation kind of mix.
Okay, so the so it's similar to my to a teleportation spell.
Yep. Actually,
Okay,
yeah, sorry. No, it's not a teleportation. It's just strictly conjuration. Sorry. I was reading the wrong one.
okay,
It's
conjuration only.
yep, strictly conjuration. Which you are very familiar in these, and you know that um, magical gates are all centered around conjuration type magic.
Hmm. Okay. Who's going to be the brave soul to walk into it?
I'll walk in.
Which one?
I
Um,
think this
Well, two have
man,
lightning.
I'm on fire tonight. Yeah, I suggest this one
yeah, because it doesn't look harmful.
because it has the path that leads directly into it.
Yeah, and there's no electricity.
Yeah, that's just
Yeah,
a thing that I put for effect, though. So,
Oh,
but that's okay. All right. That kill goes and stands next to the gate as you.
Has he has he tied a rope around himself?
I don't know. Has he?
Um, I will. I'll tie a rope around him, and I'm also going to give him a one of those plane shift scrolls, just in case.
I can't use scroll in Paladin.
Paladins can use scrolls. They can use.
No,
Sure
Can't
they
they?
you can only use scrolls if they're like whatever a fighter can use.
And clerical spells.
It is. It's a clerical spell, isn't it? Plane shifts.
I don't think so. I think plane shift is an arcane spell.
Oh, let me go look. You might get it at a higher level. We have a gate spell.
Yeah, that's no.
That's
Let's
magic
see.
user.
Okay, would a gate spell be conjuration as
No,
well?
yeah, we clerics can cast plane shift at 5th level.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. You going through?
All right. Wish me luck.
We're holding onto the rope.
Holding on to the rope.
And
Probably
I say,
tied
by the
tied
power of
part of
Saint
it off,
Cuthbert.
tried the end of it off onto one of the horses, and then we're standing between him
I-
and the horse.
All right.
Yeah.
I tell my horse to follow the druid.
I'm standing over here
Something
just in
should
case.
happen to me.
Roger that.
He's a blast them all to pieces.
Okay.
All right. I walk in.
All right. You guys watch as Zadkiel passes through, and
A room with a holy avenger.
oh, how did you know?
Yes.
As he disappears, Zadkiel on the other side, you feel this sort of a similar sense of vertigo, like when you guys were teleported from Greyhawk to the dry steppes. A similar sort of a feeling, but it's almost instantaneous. The feeling goes away quickly, and immediately you're hit by this sticky kind of humid heat. And you can hear the immediate jungle sounds of crickets and animals and birds and whatnot going off as if you are suddenly stepping into a jungle forest. The familiar wide stone ring of the Tovag Baragu stands in the middle of a lush rainforest. Mighty boles reaching up hundreds of feet support thick blue vegetation. The jungle trees curtail sight outside the diameter of the extended circular complex. In other words, the trees are so tall and wide and the canopy is so thick, you can only see the inner circle where you're standing. You can't see the rest of the Tovag, even though looking through some of the other stone archways, you can see the rest of the stone rings, but it's all interspersed amongst this thick, lush jungle. Anyway, within the innermost circle of the archway stands a 20-foot square, 30-foot high, crenellated stone tower. Around the tower, extensive bloodstains and debris of conflict are readily apparent. Beyond the innermost circle of archways, several large hide tents are visible. And let me do this. And oops, I forgot to put you guys on a map. Give me a sec. Dun dun dun. I'll do that kill. And I'll put the rest of you guys on the other
We
side.
get to fight Ayuz and Vecna together.
That's the goal, actually, is to get you guys all on the same one. All right, I'm going to move you guys here. And that is where we are going to end tonight's game. As you step through, and that's what you see. You can see there's this tower here in the center. It's actually a 30-foot tall tower.
So we're all going through.
No, I just put you guys on there because otherwise you wouldn't be able to see the map. If Zadkiel wants to go back, then we'll see what happens if he tries to go back. But for right now, I just wanted to show you guys what he sees. So you see this inner circle here. Outside the circle is nothing but lush jungle. However, outside the circle, you can also see there are several tents pitched, sort of like lean-to tents. And so, like I said, that's where we're going to end tonight's session. Just in the event any encounter happens, I don't want to go past 11. So we'll stop now.
Okay.
We'll pick this up next week.
Hey, I got one more question.
Yes, sir.
Question.
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna yank on the rope 3 times.
Oh, actually, I should say, as soon as he stepped through, the rope dropped to the ground. And you pull it back, and it is severed where he went through. And as you step through, Zadkiel, the rope around your waist falls to the ground. There's only a little piece that's wide enough to wrap around your waist and tie, but it looks like the rope got severed when you stepped through the gate. But you can see, immediate view, you can see there are a couple other, 2 of the archways are blocked while the rest you're able to look through. One of them is the one you just stepped through. And there's another one that has sort of a thick black kind of a haze over it.
Okay.
But like I said, that is where we are going to...
As the rope drops, I'm going to pull a Charlton Heston. Why, you maniacs? You did it.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, DM.
All right, y'all.
That's where I got my. That's where I got my fear of giant statues.
Yeah.
Good game.
Good game, man.
Night.
I know we didn't get much combat and stuff, but it was good. I actually have already awarded
asking
people
questions and answers is just as good.
Yep, that's why I actually I've already given some experience to you guys, and so I'm going to take some away because it takes you so long just to make a decision. But anyway.
See you all next time.
All right, man. So we're going to raid over to Eric. They're starting their brand new. They finished their last week's campaign. Well, they finished their campaign last week. It was been going on for like 2.5 years. Tonight's their first session of their new one. So we'll go over and check them out for a little bit.
Greyhawk as well?
I don't know. But they are 5e.
Okay. Oh well.
But it's a good group.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it's a good group though. Hopefully I spelled the thing here right.
Okay, well.
Dang it.
I got to take the wife for an MRI tomorrow. I'll see you guys around.
Oh man,
Right,
hope
we'll
you
see you
get
later.
good news.
Okay, bye.
Right.
Later, man. Take care.
I'm trying to. I can't do it through my thing here because. Oh wait, maybe they're now. It looks like they're connected. Son of a gun. I was having issues linking my, there we go. It's weird. Yeah, I was going to say failed a bit. So for some reason, for those that know, whenever you open up something, it's supposed to go, like when you link your Stream Deck to Discord, let's say, or to whatever, it's supposed to open up the web page to the location. And in my case, it's opening up to localhost. I'm like, why is it opening up to localhost? So it keeps failing. So now none of my buttons are working because I can't link it to my account. So I don't know what the hell's going on. So did I just spell his?
Fun is Forge.
Yep. So I am going to
Good night.
open his. All right, man. We'll see you later.
Good night.
Bye.
So let's see if we can. Is that why? There we go. Yeah, I always use the @ symbol, and I always forget you don't use the @ symbol. But anyway, I appreciate you guys hanging with us. Damn, everybody dropped so quick. I hate that. It's just like, just hang around for 30 seconds so I can like bounce over to these guys. But that's all right. We're going to raid over there now. We got 6 people, so I appreciate you guys hanging with us. And we'll see you Friday if you watching our 5e. If not, we'll see you next Monday. Peace.
Peace.
Oh, hey, I won't be here Friday.
Okay.
I have a concert Friday night. Well, I will, but it'll be late. I don't know what time. My concert starts at 6.
That's fine. We're good.
I have a concert.